This car, known as Alfred, which isn't mine, is going on the back of my truck today, and I'm going to be transporting it to a place called Scunthorpe, where a man named Peter, who has a car called Project Dan, will be doing some restoration work upon it. And whilst in Scunthorpe, I shall be going and collecting another car and bringing it back here, of course. So what I need to do is swap the wheels over on this one first. Alfred, Alfie over there, Alfred over there. Whilst I'm round the back of it, I'm going to sneak myself a seal bar. I'm a bit peckish, and I can't have it up there because Mrs. Mustard is here today and she'll probably tell me off for eating chocolate in front of her. But the trouble is, it means I can't have the traditional application of mustard on there. In this car, known as Alfred, it is a bit untidy, and it's got a couple of things worthwhile noting. SRS, that's the airbag. That's a common thing because you basically get the plug under the seat detaching itself slightly, but ABS pump not working. That's not such a good thing. And then this thing here, that's a rather curious thing to have made. The previous owner has stuck this kind of holder thing onto the dash with Gorilla Glue, I think, and it's a bit strange. What I'm going to do then is, on this car, take these wheels off, which I put on temporarily while I took the ones off of this originally, and put my old wheels on this from my car that looks like this but nicer. And this may be confusing if you're new to this channel, and I would apologise, but what for? Temporary serpents coming off, and ongoing are the lovely coronets, which are in excellent condition, except for that tiny bit of curb there, but that's the only thing wrong with it. That looks better, doesn't it? Well, I thought I would clean these wheels up. I might as well put them up for sale. And I bought this stuff from Aldi last night rather than just using the hydrochloric acid. And that's how far I've got before the trigger thing's given up on it already. That's not very good at all. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. I want to list those wheels up for sale, but there seems to be nowhere in the yard where I'm getting a good enough signal to do such a thing. I can also tell you that O2 have put their prices up, so it might have something to do with that. If only I could put these wheels up for sale right now, I would be living the best life. Transit face, action stance. Brakes were juddering a little bit, so I've jacked it up to see if there's anything wrong, and there isn't. Exciting times ahead for transit face actually, because it's almost due its MOT. Just imagine if I strapped this down and then I realised I'd strapped down the wrong car, but put Alfie on instead. Could be worse though. I could strap it down, take it to Scunthorpe, and then realise I've got my own car on the back. Just tried that Wonder Wheel stuff out on this wheel here, and then I remembered that it's not even my car. Last week I sprayed on the front in a rather graffitiized manner, Project Nigel. Why don't I do the same down here? Why don't I? Exactly, no reason not to. Last week when I took Transit Face out, straight after I'd sprayed that on the front of it, I felt like quite a lot of people were looking at it. And I've only really just realised why. It has definitely prompted me to do the same thing on that side and on this side as well. We're used to seeing sign-written vehicles absolutely everywhere, but we're not used to seeing them looking like they've been vandalised. I think more people will look at that and read it because it looks like it's been vandalised. And then when they do that, they'll see Project Nigel, a YouTube symbol, and a man inside talking to himself. And it'll make them curious. That's the plan. So one day I'm hoping to get a comment in one of these videos of somebody saying, ah yeah, I saw you driving along in your Transit and I thought that looks interesting. So I thought I'd have a watch and I subscribed because I think you're super duper. It is nearly 4 o'clock. I've got my diesel, I've got my food, and I'm ready to go. I like 60 miles per hour because it's a lot more economical than 70 and it's much more achievable in a Transit as well. So for dinner today, cheese and onion sandwiches from Lidl and a bottle of juice, which is cherry juice. It would be nice if it was cold, and some ginger biscuits. Yeah, so that should keep me going. If only I didn't feel like eating it all right now because I'm jolly hungry. That is Scamandon Bridge. Isn't it pretty? Have a great day. Thank you. About 10 miles in, and after junction 24 along the M62, there is a report of an accident, and that means the traffic will slow down because they want to make sure they get to see the accident. I don't know why though, because it's already happened. Interesting cars, you will see them on the motorway. If I spot a Rover 25, I want that in my video, even though I've got loads. Well, I've got one, but it's not the point. I like seeing them on the road, and maybe you do too. Well, that's definitely slowing down quite a bit. And what else is definite at the moment are my juddery brakes. I've got an octopus, my octopus is friendly, his name is Percy. I've got an octopus, my octopus is friendly, his name is Percy. Percy. I've made my mind up. If I ever get an octopus, I shall call it Percy. I don't think I ever will get an octopus, and I'm certainly not going to get one just so I can name it Percy. It's not even that good a name. It was 1959 when the M1 opened, and then lots of other motorways came along in the 60s and 70s and 80s, not too much thereafter. But you imagine the chaos that would be caused if it wasn't for motorways now. The amount of traffic and logistics going on everywhere. Yeah, but consider this. If we didn't have motorways, people wouldn't be able to crash on them. See that? Junction 26 now. This crash was supposed to be after 24, but there was no crash. So people are still going slowly, looking out for this accident that hasn't happened. If I had a hamster, I'd call it Tommy or Henry. No, I wouldn't. I'd call it George. I wouldn't have a hamster though. What kind of a man buys himself a hamster as a pet? Men have dogs, don't they? Or lizards, snakes, sheep. Not hamsters. They're for small people. A hamster is the animal that you give to a child because they've got to learn to look after things, and if they can't look after it and it dies, it doesn't matter too much. Can't believe this jam's still going on. I've been out for 50 minutes so far, and I've really just only got over the top of the hill. Last week I got stuck in a jam on the way back, and maybe it's better that way because you've already done most of your journey. Whereas you start off with a great big traffic jam that's going to take half an hour or an hour out of your time, your motivation starts to dwindle somewhat. Worse here, the traffic jam is going on as far as the eye can see. Not as far as the eye can actually see, but beyond the horizon. And I can't see beyond the horizon. At last, I think we're reaching the end of it. When you watch a film and someone's lost in a desert and they're just walking and walking, and suddenly they go over a slope and there it is, a town, a city. It turns out to be a mirage. Just like that did. Brakes are juddering like a man who's lost his coat in Norway. He'd have to be a man from somewhere else. They don't need coats in Norway. And finally, driving along the motorway at motorway speeds, well, 50 miles per hour. That's fantastic. Fantastic until I start coming the other way. Look at that. What do we have there? What have we got? Cows! Could really smell them as well. You don't have to get that close to a cow to smell its poo. Even when it hasn't just done a poo, they just make the whole area smell of poo. I think that's amazing. But what else is amazing is that I don't even mind the smell of it. I can do the next bit. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a small excerpt from Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. I would like to do some Prokofiev next, but believe it or not, his music is still copywritten because he died something like 1959. So I can't do that. Going to get past the very noisy Emsley Crane Crane. Very noisy indeed. If I was a little froggy, I'd eat myself some cheese. Even though little froggies, they do not even eat cheese. I'd have myself a piece of Emmental and try it out.
Hello, mister. Wanna try a piece of Emmental? The tastiest cheese around.
Yes, if I was a little froggy, I'd eat myself some Emmental. These road trips are supposed to be about reflection, philosophical thoughts, ideas, not songs about frogs eating Emmental. I do think it would be quite amusing to just burst into the little froggy eating cheese song at the most inappropriate moment, like when you meet somebody new. There's another one crashed there. Another one crashed. Why do people want to crash their cars so much? That's what I want to know.
Why do people do it? Why do people crash their car?
Do you know something? As I drive along in my vandalised truck, talking to myself and making up silly songs, I have a slight thought there. What if I am got genuinely deranged? I am now in Lincolnshire, which is, of course, the home of Scunthorpe. Something else to look forward to on the way back. can probably tell that I am on my way back. On my way back with a silver Rover 25. Hey, I've just realised something. I've got this car in the back and I haven't even given it a name. Normally, I'd have a name fairly quickly for one of these, but this time I haven't. What's going on? Time to think of a name. Could it be Freddy? Could it be Ted? Could it be Arnold? Could it be Toby? No, it's not going to be any of those, although I do quite like those names. What an incredibly flat bit of landscape with an incredibly straight bit of motorway with so few vehicles on it. It feels like I'm in a different country. Well, I suppose I am, really. I'm in Lincolnshire. No, I know that's a different county, but it looks like a different country to me. Could it be Oscar? Could it be Toby? Could it be Jensen? Could it be Harold? Could it be David? No. There are some cooling towers in the distance over there, but it doesn't matter how long I keep going, I don't seem to be getting any closer to them. I had this rather curious thought before with the V5s, chopping and changing from one owner to another, and at one point the other week I felt a bit sorry for the DVLA having to deal with this, not another one that we've got to change over for somebody. But then I thought, well, man, they're the ones that we need to do it. Imagine if you didn't bother filling in your V5 properly at all, and then when there's some sort of trouble that occurs, you just say, well, I didn't want to put the DVLA to any trouble. You know, I felt sorry for them. I reckon that would wash. The other road's very quiet. This is the M62. Doesn't look like it, does it? All that will soon change once I get onto the other side of the M1. Or even the A1, come to think of it. Because that's where civilization starts again. All you've got at this end really are industrial parks and pylons. Yeah, fields with cows in. Cheese, I've got cheese. Cheese. I've got some cheese in my sandwich. Look at my sandwich, you can see it. You can see it, bread with cheese in. Yes, because surprisingly enough, it's going dark. Getting dark? Yes, it is. I haven't made it back to work before it's going dark, and that was the intention. It's nearly 9:10. And not only that, I've got to return home first to retrieve the keys for the lockup, because I forgot to bring them with me, which is very silly indeed. Very silly, stupid boy. Go on, have a sandwich. Would if there was any. Every lady feels more worthwhile when she's been patted on the bottom by a stranger. Well, I am finally back, and here is the car. It's almost completely dark, so you can't see too well. It's a Rover 25 on a no fire plate, and it's going to be called Brian Johnson. Remember Boris Johnson? Well, this is very closely related indeed. Good morning, and the plan for this morning was to continue the video of this car here. But I should imagine this video is already long enough, so I'm going to stop and start again with the next video.